Welcome back to another video. We're going to work on this air layering. It's a chinensis. I was going to do it a couple of days ago, but I didn't get around to it. I was doing I got carried away with other things, as you do. It's at the stage where I think I can wire it quite nicely. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I need to get in there, clean it out, and see what the options are. Haven't really looked at it like that. Get a better view of the trunk this side. But it's all a bit straight at the minute. I'll see how it bends without putting it under too much stress. But yeah, that's the aim of the game in this video. Deal with this little baby. It's an air layering. It came off of this one, which I got last year. Haven't done anything with it. Just growing it on. The air layering actually came off there. Just that little cut. So as you can see, it didn't need it. You've got branch here, branch here, branch here, branch here. So it's nicely staggered. It would have been a good back branch, but we've got this one and we got this one. So it wasn't really needed. I think it's important when you go and purchase a tree, or when you're looking at getting a tree, don't always look to see what the tree is offering as in style and how it's set and bonsai'd. I tend to look at trees where I can get more than one out of it if I can. This one's a perfect example, obviously, because of that air layering. And I am going to shorten it as well. It doesn't need to be this tall. I really want to emphasize the thickness of the trunk. And to do that, I need to reduce the height. So I will probably air layer the top. So that will produce a nice little bonsai in itself. It's already shaped. It's got an S shape all the way up through. So that's the plan. That's why I haven't done anything to it. I've just been biding my time, getting an air layering off of it, and then just, yeah. And obviously cuttings. All these long shoots. These will all be cuttings as well. So that's another thing to consider. Don't always buy a tree that is refined. I like buying stuff like this because you get loads of bonuses off of it. I might even air layer some of these on this side. It's a bit heavy, but we can do that. We can look at it in the spring. So yeah, a good tip when you're out shopping, look beyond what's in front of you. See what you can get out of it. Because it's all free. Well, you paid for it. It's all a bonus. It's all a bonus. Right, so yeah, we're going to crack on with this. We'll get some wire out. We'll get these scissors. I'll clean it out. And then, yeah, see what we can do with it. Just come in and just clean up what I know I don't need. Just to make it easier to get some wire around. I'm going to leave the extensions on the end if I can, because basically I want some more cuttings. I haven't got enough cuttings. I want a couple more, and say it's pointless throwing away stuff. Pointless. So these inner ones, they're not going to do anything anyway. No point growing these on for cuttings. They will eventually be in a position where they can be propagated, but for this exercise, we just need to clean it out, see what's going on, and put a bit of shape into it. Yeah, I always find this is a good time of year to do this kind of stuff in the winter. People panic about disease and open wounds and disease and all that. But my garden's pretty good. I don't experience a lot of disease in the garden. I think if you've got a history of it, it's something to consider. Contain it. But I don't really have a history of disease, so I'm confident of doing stuff like this. And if anybody watched the video on the little miniature bonsai I did, it's quite concentrated work on them, and you need to work on them 2 or 3 times a year. And to do that, obviously, you got to make the most of the seasons, the weather. So this is a great time of year, winter time, to do things. Good for doing sharis, gins, things like that. Obviously, protect the trees afterwards. It's all about aftercare. Use the appropriate wound sealants. Yeah, and you should be okay. It's more warmer climates where you get fungal infections, humidity. Where I am, it drops down to anything between 10 and 0. It does go lower, obviously, but yeah, so it keeps things under control, fungal infections and all that. Yeah, I was watching, if anybody's familiar with it, Bonsai. Watching some of their stuff last night. They do some great stuff. It's all subtitled. It's in Japan. But yeah, really knowledgeable. It's worth checking it out. It's on YouTube. Bonsai. Learnt a lot off of them. And it's quite funny. It is quite a funny channel. They have a bit of a giggle. It's got that typical Japanese sense of humour. Yeah. Be careful when I always a bit wary when I'm doing this, because everything's really concentrated at the minute inside here, and it's easy to cut off the wrong bit. Get rid of these wispy ones. You got to follow it to the end. Each one you got to follow to the end, really, just to make sure that you're not cutting off anything that you're going to need. Yeah, we'll see how this bends. It'd be really nice to bring it right down into a contorted ball, so to speak. Say, produce another mini bonsai, really. I'm running out of room on the benches. All my trees from now on are going to be miniature. No, I love them. I love this. It's great practice. Great practice. Everything's concentrated, and you learn so much by doing miniature bonsai. Not just skills, but you learn patience. And an understanding, a good balance of the plant you're working on, because they're a little bit more sensitive. The roots are less. The actual fuel tanks of the tree is a lot smaller, so they've got less energy stored. So yeah, you You've got to think about a lot of things. Big trees kind of look after themselves, I find. Little ones are a lot more sensitive. What I'll do, I'll probably put some of this video on a time lapse. Because if it's anything like the one I did the other night on the miniature one, it took a lot longer than what I anticipated. Cool, right, okay, I'll carry on cleaning up. You enjoy the time lapse, and then we'll come back and get some wire on it. Grab me little pliers, and I'm gonna just grab hold of it and just see what kind of twists and bends I get. Look in the crutches, because that's where it's gonna start to tear. Right, just bring him up because I want to get this one more of an angle if I can. Right, really need to get on top of it now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Right, now that we've got that bend in, we can probably remove some of the ones that are on the inside. So you don't want to get rid of everything straight away. Options, as they say. I need to bring this one down. Ooh. Okay, he's good. He's good. Yeah, he's all a bit congested in here, so we can just clear out what we don't need now. He's quite good. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Right, I think we're going to deal with this. Let's work our way up now from the bottom. Now we know what the trunk's kind of doing. He's dipping down. He's got quite a severe bend in there. We probably need to bring him in a bit more, I'd say. A bit more movement on the end. Something like that. So our apex is something in that area. We're not going to need that one. Okay, he's good, like it. Right, what we need to do now is add a bit of volume to the bottom. So we need to wrap these lower branches. They used to call it the octopus years ago. This kind of technique where you wrap it all up. It's choosing which direction to go in, because you want to alternate directions, but at the same, it sounds a bit contradictory. You need to alternate things, but you also need to flow. You need to follow and flow with the trunk. So we'll bring these up out of the way for a minute, so they're out of the way. We can see what's going on. You need to wrap this one. I don't know what kind of movement I'm going to get on it. We'll let them thicken up, and then we can deadwood them, gin them. Feed this one around. Follow this branch. This one will overlap it. Bring it up. And then we got this branch here. See this branch, this second split in the trunk. He's quite dominant. He's not as thick as the leader, but he's not far off. And I think that will be a bit unbalanced. We've already got our apex. We don't need this one. Right, Debs? So I'm not going to cut it off. What I'm going to do is put it into a position where it will become a gin. I think that's the best option. We'll keep foliage on it because we want it to keep growing and it will set. Right, what we need to do now is work out what it wants to do with the apex. You don't want it running alongside. I'm wondering if we can bring it around, wrap it around and bring it up through this gap. You can see in here, it's a bit concentrated. It's a bit concentrated. Bring that one down out of the way. There he is. Right, all wired, all good. Got some really interesting movement down here with all the branches. I couldn't follow the line of the trunk with all of them because it would have been too lumpy in places, and it would have given the image of inverse. So I've concentrated it all in one area down here, and then we've got the main trunk coming up, coming like that, and then like an S shape. It's quite interesting on top. There's a few bends in there, a few branches entwined within this part. I think in the future, I think it's going to be more of a dragon looking style, very swirly, very offset below. So this will probably all become deadwood, all ginned at the bottom, and then the main trunk will come up, and then the actual foliage will come off of this. So we'll see. I know it's really difficult to see what's going on in there. I've kept as much foliage on there as possible, but I think that's half the fun. We'll come back probably next year, end of growing season, and then see what's happening in there. And as I say, that's all part of the fun, exposing everything and seeing what you've got to work with in the future. But it's definitely on the right path. There's some beautiful bends in there. It's a lot more compact. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting tree in the future. And I say we'll take some cuttings off of this, probably end of spring, summertime, and yeah, we can revisit it. Yeah, so there we go, another little miniature bonsai in the making. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and yeah, see you on the next one.